Hello and welcome to the Justin Hamilton podcast. On today's episode, Molk is back to discuss television. We're digging into Widow's Bay. Since we last chatted, 5 episodes have dropped and they've all been brilliant. So we're going to really dig into that. We'll also touch on a few other TV shows that you might like to check out. Star City. We talk about the new Cape Fear and maximum pleasure guaranteed, a whole lot of stuff. One thing that I didn't get around to mentioning on the podcast, I don't know if it was really in Molk's wheelhouse, but if you are a tennis fan, the Rafael Nadal documentary series on Netflix, it's just called Nadal, 4 episodes. I saw the New York Times gave it a heading that was, and I'm paraphrasing this, the destruction of a man to build a legend. And if you are a fan of Nadal or a fan of tennis, his story is pretty incredible. And it's a lot of incredible access to Nadal and his team and his family and what he went through as an athlete to achieve all the incredible things that he achieved, and an insight into what makes him tick as a man. It's pretty incredible, I reckon. I really enjoyed it. So we didn't get around to discussing that. I'm just mentioning that to you now in case you would like to see that. 4 episodes, and I thought they were all great. Before we bring in Molk, I will be in Brisbane on the 18th of June, performing at Good Chat Comedy. If you would like to come along to that, it's a work in progress, so I'm going to be saying some things that may never be said again. So if you would like to check that out, head to Good Chat Comedy, and you can find my little tile and sign on to that and find tickets that suit you. It'd be great to see as many Brisbane friends as possible. As you know, last year, Brisbane kind of post-COVID had been a city that I was finding it difficult to get back up to. But now that I have this great relationship with the guys who run Good Chat, this will be my third visit in the last 6 months. So looking forward to getting back up there to do some gigs and also do this solo show. So please check that out. All right, let's bring in Molk, and then I'll swing by at the end of the podcast to let you know what's coming up at the end of this week and suggest some other things you might like to check out. Let's bring in Molk. It feels like since we last chatted that 11/7 TV shows have started and really rolled along. We have quite a few that Molk and I decided at the end of this podcast that we're going to do some rapid fire on some stuff. But what I really wanted to dig into was the 5 episodes of Widow's Bay that dropped since we last spoke. Now, the reason there were 5 episodes, they did a double episode drop in the middle there, which I think was a really smart move, because one of those episodes was a flashback episode. And I think people who watch week to week don't, look, I'm just going to call it, don't have the supreme and zen patience that I have. And they need to get back to the storyline that's taking place on the island now. So dropping a flashback episode and then getting straight to the next episode, I actually think was a supremely smart move.
I totally agree, Hammo, and it allowed us to get the deeper understanding of where the Widow's Bay weirdness
Yeah.
starts. It doesn't answer it. It
No.
just sets up to go, oh man, there's some weird shit happening. So all of the stuff that Wick, Stephen Root's character, has been babbling about, the island won't let you leave and all of those
Yeah.
sorts of things. Oh no, we literally got to see some of the earliest instances and even almost underlying rationale. But
Yes.
no 1 + 1 = crazy two stuff. Like it's deep cut, great, establishing things that I think really helped underline what happened in the episodes subsequent. Like what we saw from that point, I think it made it more dramatic and deeper.
Yeah.
And it also then really grounded the episodes we'd seen prior to it.
Yes. Yes. And because, when it first starts out, you're a little bit like, is Stephen Root insane? Like, is he just full of stories that aren't true? Maybe there's a little bit of validity to it. But as
Mm,
it kind of slowly progressed, in that second episode, the haunted house kind of storyline,
yep.
you can kind of uh, rationalize that a lot of it's in the mayor's head. And then,
Yes.
even the episode with the swimming, that can be kind of seen as maybe, everyone's overreacting. By about episode 4, we're starting to go, no, 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 no. There is some deep rooted, dark magic that is going on that is
Yeah.
also producing an incredible psychosis. Episode 4 focused on Patricia, who I said to
Oh,
you after the first episode was my favorite character when
yep.
she finally hears about the New York Times journalist visiting Widow's Bay, and her first question is, "Did you talk about my paintings?" I thought, I know you. I know you
Yep.
so well. And to get an episode where she discovers a self-help book that encourages her to throw a party to kind
Mm,
of win back the favor of the horrific women her age
yeah.
who
Fuck
have
the Mean Girls. Yeah.
ostracized her
Yeah.
from just about everything. And how far into that episode did you realize that maybe the party wasn't going down the way she was viewing it?
Um, look, I was a bad like TV follower at that point because I was just consumed by this is amazing.
Yeah.
Has Patricia finally got a moment where this is paying off for her? I don't know what magic is happening in the book, but
Yeah.
great. And then to have the rug pull, I just did not expect that it was all of that.
Oh my Lord. The
But the pieces immediately went click, 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 click. Holy shit.
Yes, yes. It turns out, by the way, we're going to spoil this, so we're
Yep.
digging into these episodes. The self-help book is a witch's book,
Oh,
and
Jesus,
she
yes.
and it has. I think it's what's it called, a grimoire, which is
Yep.
also a book of spells, a textbook of magic,
Mm.
and it's kind of possessed her, and then through her possessed everybody else. That moment where I forget the older lady who's on the island who works there's name.
Ma
What's
is it Marjorie? No,
Marjorie?
could be.
Not the old lady who leaves work after an hour, but
Yeah, no,
the
this is the curmudgeon-y lady that just
yes.
has like the weird reactions to everything.
Yes. When she has that moment where she says, I told you that hat was a bit weird. And then we finally we saw it as a party hat, but then
Yeah,
we
that's right.
see it's got antlers and it's like, I don't know how this show goes from really funny to creepy
Oh,
and then
yeah,
goes back to funny in the next breath.
it's doing my head in because look,
Mm,
we've discussed Hammo. I'm not a jump scare guy. I
mm,
can't do it, and this is I don't know if it's desensitizing. I don't know if it's any kind of therapy. Um, I'm still jumping. I'm still scared,
mm.
but I'm not anticipating it. I'm just enjoying it for the reveals, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
And that reveal where it's just that exactly like you said, that deadpan delivery. I told you I thought that hat was weird.
Yes.
Like, fuck woman, you've seen her like delivering all this essentially Wiccan witchcraft food and spells and even the decorations that we thought were great big party situations. It's just like heads of stoats and weirdness. The punch is ludicrous.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, you I guess it's almost like she's just looking at it going, I'm an island, I'm like a Widow's Bay person. I've seen crazier things, and I'm happy to write this off as this is just Pamela.
Yeah, it is one of those things
Oh,
where
Patricia, sorry, not Pamela, Patricia.
yes, no, no, I knew who you meant. The thing is that and you see it with Patricia's episode in the latest one where she's being chased by the boogeyman.
Oh,
What's
so
great about
good.
that is that she is terrified to begin with, and by the end of it, she's actually annoyed that he's still
Yep.
coming. And and
Oh,
and that's kind of what happens in this where yeah, she does kind of look and go, "Oh well, must be another night on Widow's Bay," and
yeah.
wouldn't think to do anything. By the way, uh, once again, the severe swings from seeing the reflections of the people and their mouths are just wide open and they kind
Mm.
of look like they're aghast and can't do anything else to react. And that's kind of your first sense of maybe we're seeing this through the wrong eyes. But then also, it's so funny when the DJ has adverts turn up because that's all he can afford for Spotify.
Yeah.
Like, it's once again that ability to juggle comedy and horror
Mm.
is, I think it's remarkable.
Oh, I agree, and I think it's what makes Widow's Bait get under your skin in the best
Yeah,
sense. Because if it was just darkness,
yeah,
it in itself, I think it'd be an excellent thriller series, but it would be pretty heavy going. If it
yes,
was just comedy, like the screen parody films, those kinds of things, fine, funny, but I
mm,
think you'd go, well, I've seen the first one, it's copy paste, we know what we're
yeah,
getting. Whereas this, like you said, it is, and it's not hard changes. It's a joke within the context of the
mm,
moment
yeah,
or an aside or a thing. And we just still can continue on because we don't have to dwell in it. Though there are times when you literally have to pause and go, hang on,
mm,
what the, and go back and hear it again or see the thing and go, oh yeah, no, that's what
mm,
happened. That I am right to go. That's an emotional gear change for me that I wasn't ready for,
mm.
and now I come back again and let's continue on with the boogeyman chasing me down the street.
Yeah. Also what's really important in this episode is uh, people who are long time listeners of this podcast have heard me bang on about this incessantly, but it's you have to get the emotional responses that are real
Mm,
correct. And then
yes,
I'll accept everything around it. And the fact that the women of this town bully Patricia and the way they make her feel, that's all recognizable. And so, therefore, it's not just a surface reading of anything that is occurring. You do
yeah,
have a sense of character, and therefore, stakes are so much more important. I have to say, um, I can't prove this, but I did speak to a couple of friends and say there's a part of me that wonders that maybe these women are right. Maybe she is bullshitting that she saw the boogeyman. And in the latest episode, the reveal that she did lie because she just wanted to be a part of something. I actually, I actually think that makes the character more interesting.
yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
and yeah, the human choices as far as the character development, the human
mm,
fallibility
mm,
that is being played out in both the writing and the performance has made Widow's Bay just compelling for me.
yeah,
And I agree that the way that like Patricia, she doesn't when she reveals that she'd been making it up, it's in a
yeah,
moment of desperation anyway.
yes,
However, the human responses from the mean girls, like particularly her antagonist, let's call her friend, opposite.
mm,
See, I told you. Like
mm,
just that I was right the whole time. In the middle of there is a guy coming to kill us all.
mm,
Like her main concern is that I was right that she's weird and we don't
yeah,
like her and she's involving and investing herself in it. Meanwhile, Patricia is absolutely like like I said initially, just losing her shit scared because
mm,
this guy just is the guy that just kept coming.
yeah,
Um, and that progresses to the point where at the end, she's just she's doing like, yeah, can this just not be over? But B, every scene that she's in when they're getting rid of that body,
oh
she
yeah,
is
let's
a
let yeah yeah
foot
let's
away.
yeah let's wait because
Yeah,
we'll get to that part of
yeah.
the episode in a sec. But
Sorry, yeah.
no, it's fine. This thing's so intricately plotted and put together. It's easy to kind of you kind of have to go backwards and
Yes.
forwards because so much refers to each other. But that episode finished with Tom and Wick picking up Patricia, and they find that the Reverend has hung himself.
Yeah.
So that finished on a cliffhanger. The next episode, Tom enforces a town-wide curfew
Mm,
following the Reverend's death, and so of course, the residents are furious because they want to attend the fireworks celebrations.
yes.
Once again, a nice metaphor for life in general, where something bad is happening, but people want to celebrate something that is not that important.
right?
Do
Yeah.
you can do the let's be honest, you can do the fireworks on another day when there's maybe not a serial killer running around.
Calm down,
Um,
everyone.
yes, I do love the B story with Tom's son,
Mm.
who is
Yes.
rebellious, but not. Once again, there is nuance to his rebellion. The moment where he gets dared to go up to the boogeyman's house, and the cop turns up, and when he's leaving, he says, "Hey, can I just say fuck you?" And the cop's like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah.
All of that is so funny and gives you a sense of this kid is rebellious, but he's also, trying to be cool, etc. But in this episode,
Impress a girl, Hammo. He's trying to impress a
he's trying to
girl.
impress a girl.
We're the worst.
Uh, you know what? I'm not going to take that. I'm all right.
Okay, fine.
Um, I was just saying to someone the other day, it's like, I've just had so many conversations where people keep telling me that men are the worst, and it's like, yeah, no, I
Mm.
know, and they just keep saying it to me, and they just keep saying it to me, and and it's a blanket comment, and I understand exactly where they're coming from, but what they don't understand is I was raised by a single mum. I fucking knew that men were the worst before anyone got fingered in a blue light disco. So
Yeah,
you know what I could do with just a little bit of
we got this.
I got yeah, no, I know men are the worst. Can I exist without hearing it for a day? Anyway, there you
Done.
go. I'm now going to start watching Sky News. So anyway,
We've got an SBS
I
sketch. Thanks, Lisa Jane.
I just think that a kid trying to impress a girl is not the worst thing in the world.
No, it's great, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
it's the mandatory macho process, and even just that. How can I get her attention? Not even macho. It's just how can I be cool enough that she thinks I'm cool to hang out
yeah,
with?
yeah, yeah. That's all right. That's okay.
Mm.
There's many worse ways. I think that's a good one. But this episode, they find a charred page of writing and some psychedelic mushrooms, and they this all leads them to this self-styled shaman Todd O'Connor, who bring him back. He was
Please.
funny. No. I'm not a drug dealer. I'm a shaman. What's that? Cocaine,
Mm.
mate. A rose by any other name is still a
Yeah, yeah.
drug dealer. Um, but Tom getting on the gear and hallucinating for 12 hours. Now, you don't have to answer this question,
Hmm.
but I have I'm going to take a guess here that this is not something that you've experienced,
Not at all. I'm a straight 180 kid.
mate. So you tell me what this was like to watch, because I'll tell you what it was like from my perspective as someone who has had a good time in these scenarios.
Part of me went, if that's what it's really like, do I need to check it out? Because that was pretty weird, but in a good and a bad way.
Yeah, yeah,
And part of it also felt like this is the standard waves his hand, standard Hollywood trope of person on drugs.
right.
Like this is their general vibe. I have no perspective to be able to go that that's true or not. It
Yeah,
looks kind of weird and kind of fun.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Look, the moments of him doing one thing and just kind of blacking out for a moment and then suddenly finding himself in completely different conversations. Check.
Perfect. Excellent.
Kind of
Excellent.
kind of being out and about, and you've existed, like, because you're
Yeah.
still here, but then suddenly someone's telling you something really serious and you're sitting there going, I'm not even really sure what your name is. Oh my God, what is happening here? That to me was so it's interesting that you say it seems like that's why I wanted to ask you
Mm,
what you thought of it as a viewer, because it is a little bit, oh, these are the tropes, but it's a trope that happens,
sure.
you know.
People get to write from experience sometimes, Hamo. Sometimes that creeps into even fictional stories.
Yeah. Just recently, someone gave me some mushrooms and it was a Sunday and I'd been working all weekend and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have these. And they said they weren't too strong. They weren't too strong, but they were strong enough. And I decided out of every movie that I could have watched, I was like, you know what I'm going to watch? David Finch is the girl with the dragon tattoo. And
Of course
halfway
you are.
through that, I was going, this is intense. I'll go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, did a wee, washed my hands, came out, and the sun had set. So the only light that was on was the light from the TV. And I
Mm.
caught my reflection. So I got up really close to the mirror and I was like kind of making faces. And then at one point, I was like, I've never seen myself from this perspective. But when I was thinking that, I was the reflection looking at me in the real world. And then I went,
Amazing.
whew, what a moment. I better get back to the movie. And then sat down, pressed play, and it was the bit where Elizabeth goes back and gets her revenge on her the guy that, raped her.
How did that
Anyway,
go down?
yeah, it was great. I had a really good time. And
Excellent.
then I did the dishes, and then I went to bed, had a good sleep.
Yes.
So I'm not saying you should do it, but just don't do
Oh,
it on Widow's Bay. That's where
oh
I'm at.
no, God, no.
That
Fuck.
seems like the big mistake.
Yep. Nope.
This is, in an episode where, once again, the big and bizarre is happening. We get to see him flashback on his wife, and
Mm.
we get a little bit more insight
Yeah.
into all of that. And because Tom can be a bit of an asshole as
Mm.
well, and I think you kind of see some of the foundation being laid for why he is the way he is.
Yeah, and I it gets reinforced that he's an import. Like
Mm,
he's not an island person. He
mm,
he loves the island and he wants it to succeed.
mm,
I think even beyond his station as mayor, I think he actually really wants everything to go well for everyone. He wants
mm.
it to be better.
Yeah.
And yet he is constantly up against, you know, the locals, that vibe where you're not a local yet. He's not a local.
Mm,
And the locals keep reminding him of that. So
yeah.
you can see it in his harriedness and his exasperation
Mm,
that, like, fuck you guys. I just want to make this place better. Why do you
mm,
keep fighting me at every turn? And
mm,
the more the episodes roll on, part of it is either them just having accepted a level of trauma that he and the rest of us are not used to, so we're
mm,
climbing up to it. And the other part is that they're just going, you wouldn't understand. The others,
mm,
this other standard local response. You're not a local, you don't get it.
mm.
And yeah, that would piss me off.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And there's okay. Well, let's jump to the next episode because there's
Yep.
something that I want to build on from what you've just said. But the next episode was the episode directed by Ty West, who his movies Pearl and Maxine, and
Mm.
I've really enjoyed his stuff. X. But this is the flashback episode to set in 1702 where the woman Sarah Westcott is brought to Widow's Bay to marry the founder Richard Warren,
Yep.
and she discovers the island is plagued by strange illnesses, disappearances. Like it's pretty creepy right from the
Oh,
start, isn't it?
yeah. Here's this woman just like it's her second marriage, so
Yeah,
she feels like she's soiled goods in the context of the time and culture.
yeah,
Finding an opportunity, she's landing with somebody in a position where they're going to be able to provide for her. All she needs to do is ostensibly care for him and have kids.
mm,
Um, like great, but
mm,
she is absolutely landing in a place that she's unfamiliar with, and
yes,
it's weird.
yes, and she is such a funny character because she's the you know, she's older and she's unmarried. And, of course, that is a terrible thing to be, for goodness sakes.
Yes,
Played by the brilliant Betty Gilpin, who
yes,
is such an underrated actor, I think.
mm,
Did you ever watch Mrs. Davis?
yes,
Yeah,
and Mad Men, and
yeah, but Mrs. Davis in particular
but yeah,
is
she was
is a
great in that.
and it's because it's on Peacock in the States, it's been kind of lost.
Yeah.
It's like one of those great shows that a lot of people haven't seen, and she's so good in the lead of that. She is once again, she is freaked out.
Yep.
She's learning that her husband may have killed the previous wife.
Yes.
She's having to take on all these children. Um, but that moment where she goes and talks to the pastor, and they're saying, "Oh, you have to get back in there to save the kids," and she's like, "I just met them. I can go
Mm,
now. Like it's funny,
they're not my kids.
and it's also once again it is a response that makes sense. So you can accept everything that's going on. The reason I love that line so much is I was sitting there thinking, oh fuck that. I wouldn't like it if I'd just met the kids. I'd be on that boat. You know, God be with you. But
Yeah,
when
yeah.
she said that, I was like, oh, excellent.
She has no responsibilities to them at
No,
that point. Like, not even, she barely knows their names.
yeah. The murder that happens in front of her is
Horrific.
horrific and so violent.
Just so
Uh,
violent.
um, it feels like Richard has made a deal. Is it with the so um, he took hallucinogenic mushrooms, which are the same ones that Tom ended up consuming, or
Seemingly that grow natively on the island,
yes, yes,
which in itself becomes a, because he talks about making a deal with the spirit of the island or with the island itself.
yes, and it's a demonic entity that controls the island. And he did it during the first winter to protect the colony, and but now
Yes,
there are sacrifices to prevent
a
the
price has to
island's
be paid.
yes to prevent the island's terrors from returning, and uh, the fact that our Sarah not only manages to help bring him down, he gets buried alive, which
Yep.
is
Horrendous.
top five horrific things that
Yep.
could ever happen.
Yep.
You know
Hello,
what?
final episodes of Euphoria. Horrendous.
Oh, I never watched Euphoria.
Oh, well, it's the same thing. Like, again, we're in spoilery territory for everyone.
Yeah, go for it.
Um,
I'm not going to watch it. You can tell me.
the, oh, who is the guy? The Australian guy that was just in Wuthering Heights. Jacob Elordi
Mm,
plays, the jock boyfriend that forcibly marries ostensibly his girlfriend, played by Sydney Sweeney.
right,
He owes some bad guy money. Bad guy buries him alive,
right.
and she's trying to find him because she's got the money to pay bad guy. In the end, when they dig him out, he's died not because he suffocated, because there was an air pipe. A rattlesnake fell down the pipe.
Right.
And what do you think the snake did to him?
Like, I don't know. Ate him.
Well, it bit him many, many times.
Oh,
He'd
right.
suffered a
Yeah.
horrendous death with this
Right.
snake in the box with him. Just buried alive is horrible. Buried alive with
Yes.
the real snake becomes even worse.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Yuck.
I need to. I feel like I need to point out you were making up a word for funny reasons, and I don't want anyone to be using that, thinking that is actually worsera. Is the actual word. I've just noticed so many people using bad.
Yeah, yeah, no, I made that
Right.
word up. That is intentionally bad.
Yeah, yeah. He's being funny, people. Please don't
That's
take that
right.
on board.
Please no.
Yeah, that sounds horrific. Well, poor old Richard Warren, possibly being in the right, maybe
Mm,
straddling, maybe he's
mm,
done some bad things and he's done some
mm.
good things. Like who knows? But it's interesting. They make the escape on the boat, but the we see a painting later on, and there's a little girl who, in this painting, is swimming back towards the island. So the reason I wanted to move on to this episode
Yeah.
after the last one is you have to wonder if Tom's dead wife and his son are descendants of that little girl.
That is a great question, and I look forward to finding out, because I think there's connections. We've
Yeah.
been given hooks out of
Yes.
that
Yes.
that help us get a view of, okay, so clearly from right this very, first moments of
Yeah.
Widow's Bay, someone somewhere somehow is connected to this longevity process, because as is starting to go south,
Yeah.
like we learned in that first episode, a price has to be paid.
Yes.
So what's the price? Like, how do we, if it had to happen regularly and clearly in the annals of time and Widow's Bay getting on, either whoever was the keeper of that secret or the knowledge keeper hasn't passed it on, or they've faded away, or they themselves have, people started to think they were loopy and
Mm,
started to ignore them. And that now the outcome is, well, the island is starting to demand its currency.
mm, yeah.
Who then, how do you break that cycle? How does that stop?
Well, by the next episode, they've dug up the body of Richard Warren, and much to our great joy, he is still alive. So he's been alive
Amazing.
for hundreds of years. Um,
He's not
Tom,
happy about it.
not happy about it. Tom coming off mushrooms, having to go in and talk to him. I haven't laughed that
So good.
hard when Patricia interrupts two times, one to get her bag, one just to check up on things.
Mm.
Just once again, a really tense, scary moment, punctured by some real humor. And they realize that they have to dump his body and they'll be able to, they hypothesize they'll be able to lift the curse. I also love when the cop turns up that Patricia says, I'll handle it, and handles it so poorly.
So
Like,
badly.
she is fundamentally, on many levels, useless when it comes to everyday interaction that's necessary. Probably better in other ways, but she could have just done anything. She just makes a schmozzle of it.
And
Uh,
how great is it for us that she is, right? I think that's
yeah,
what makes Patricia so compelling, is
yes,
that she is in the day to day next to useless.
yes. But she's got some skills, which we'll see in the next episode. But uh, they real Tom and Wick are going to transport the body to this kind of dead zone. And this episode we get explanation for Wick.
Mm,
We kind of get, we've talked about how Tom is almost like the mayor from Jaws, so that kind of
yes.
makes Wick Quint, and he gets his Quint story
Yeah.
where, in Jaws, Quint was on the boat that nobody could know about, that was torpedoed, and all the sharks came and ate the guys on board. This one, we discover that when he was a young man with his best friend, they got attacked by a giant squid, and he kicked his friend loose so he could survive. So that kind of explains the terrible guilt he's been
Mm.
living with. And once again, another flawed character that makes them more interesting to watch, right?
And yes, and I've absolutely enjoyed the relationship development that's happened between Tom and Wick.
Mm,
In the first episode, Tom had nothing but disdain for Wick, right?
mm,
You are an insane person doing insane things and saying insane things, and you're ruining everything for everyone.
mm,
And now Tom's at the point where it's like, if Wick's telling me this, like it's more than a kernel of truth. There's truth that I need to be trying to apply to reality.
mm.
And because Wick doesn't even understand it himself, he just knows it.
Yes,
And
yes.
and that's how I look forward. I don't know if we will. I hope we get to find out about how that unravels a little bit in it. How does Wick just know this?
Mm,
What does that mean? Is Wick the connection?
mm.
Like, yeah.
Well, he's old enough. I'm sure he's seen lots of other strange moments that have occurred
Yes.
over the years. That episode finishes with them being able to dump the body of Richard Warren, who at the last second decides he wants to live. And they, too bad, so sad for Richard. And then, uh, meanwhile, so they feel like that they've lifted the curse finally.
Mm,
And Tom's son, Evan, has gone through Tom's lockbox and discovered that his mum survived long after his birth, which gets us to the latest episode.
yeah.
This is Tom thinking that they've lifted the curse and that he can take his son off the island and they can go to a Boston Red Sox match. And then the son confronts him with the letters. Once
Mm,
again, really good writing, because on a lesser
yes.
show, this would have been histrionics and arguments, and it would have actually fueled the story for a number of episodes. But Tom just kind of explains that Evan's mum had a stroke during childbirth that left her mentally unstable, and he had to confine her to an asylum on the island because
Mm,
she wasn't being a good mother, and he wanted to protect his son from that. And the son gets it, and it's
yeah.
like, oh, that's nice. Here's a plot point, and we've resolved it, and we can move forward with the storytelling.
Yes. And it meant that also we got like a 2A plot episode, right?
Mm,
Here's the Tom and his son Evan situation, and then here's Patricia and the boogeyman.
yes.
Tom does, sort of cantilever into that at the end, as he should. Otherwise, we've just
Mm,
got these divergent bits. But to have that, look, I felt that deep sadness in Tom having to reveal the truth to Evan
Mm.
about his mum, because I think it's much cleaner to say she died at ostensibly at or just after childbirth,
Yes.
because it removes there's elements of guilt, absolutely, and I can understand that Evan carried that.
Yeah.
However, that guilt, it's difficult to compare, but let's call it, a little easier to carry than a husband having to put his wife into full-time
Yeah.
care for
Yeah.
mentally disturbed people. And then that she lived long enough that it wasn't even that her psychosis killed her. Like
Mm.
it was an aneurysm.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, and that in part, thankfully, it happened before Evan was too old, but he
Mm.
was a child.
Yeah.
He could have been in relationship with mum,
Yeah.
except for the fact that she was just not safe for him to be with.
No.
So,
No. And that
oh,
obviously trying to leave the island was the catalyst for
mm,
all of this happening. Yeah, so you get this grounded storyline here. Meanwhile, the boogeyman has come along. So and someone comes takes the mask that's on display. Also, like Widow's Bay has the a killer's
oh, the
mask
worst
on
museum.
display.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Stop
Anyway,
it.
and his now it's a slasher episode. It's
Yep.
this relentless walking killing machine. Now, what did she runs to her friends, admits that she made it up the first time, brilliantly tases the ringleader and just points out she's the worst, which I've
Yep.
never been happier to see someone get tased. And when she gets kicked out of the house and she sees the boogeyman in there, what was your take on what happened to all the women in there? Did he murder all of them
Well,
or some of them?
he must have, right? Unless his
Right.
fascination, his focus is just on Patricia, and he might come back and get the rest of them.
Mm,
We don't learn his motivation, right? I think it's easy for us to lean into Patricia said that she was in the thing, and so
mm,
he's coming to, but wasn't, so he's
mm,
coming to complete
mm,
that which he did, and she
mm,
claimed she was. Well, now she's gonna be.
mm.
Um, you would have thought that there would have been some women get in his way. That
Yeah.
that would have meant that he's not just going to push them to the side and no, no, I'm after lady out
Well,
here
he killed the ambulance guy. Like,
brutally.
yeah, he's not letting anyone get in his way. But once again, watching Patricia be full of fear and then get to a
Mm,
point where she's just annoyed,
yes.
and once again, this woman who is useless in the real world really comes to the fore. Like the bit where she's gonna burn him alive, realizes she has to put $20 in the petrol so she can spray it is honestly one of the funniest scenes. But then
Oh,
she gets it working.
yep.
Um uh, manage this guy still manages to kill the hurt the cop and then
And kill
she
the servo guy.
kill but the poor servo guy, Jesus. Um
Innocent, right? He's a cooked.
But that moment, and you were talking about it earlier, when she takes the boogeyman down, and you have all those jump cuts of her holding the gun to the dead body up until putting it in the crematorium and asking the guy, "Is there a back way out of this?" And him saying, "No."
No, that's it. And still, when they open it, she's still standing there with a shotgun.
So funny,
It's glorious, right? She is
glorious.
over it. She wants to make sure this guy is dead. She is not letting him out of her sight, and she will stand there until that body is absolute ashes, and
Yes.
then even has to check.
Yes. But so I have to say, someone pointed this out online, and I saw it briefly, so I didn't,
Mm.
I can't remember who it was, but someone pointed out, because there's so many Easter eggs in this show. There was one in this episode where at the beginning, when they're all having a good time and celebrating that the curse is lifted, you see
Mm.
a pretty blonde woman in a vibrant red dress, just kind of walking down the steps, and you don't think anything more of her. When you get to the end of that episode, and she's at the hospital with the gun on the dead boogeyman,
Yes.
in the waiting room, that same woman in the red dress is there, and she's got her arm in a sling. So
Okay.
Whatever this curse is, it's not just affecting the
It's
main
indiscriminate.
characters, it's everyone's going through a tough time.
I
Even
mean,
people who aren't in any storyline are getting hurt.
yeah, well, no, I didn't know that, and that makes complete sense, right? It's hardly going to be from an island's perspective, I'm just going to deal with this person or these people. It's like I've got so many things at my disposal.
Yeah,
It's all just going to happen to everybody because I want to affect everybody, or I want to get my payment from
yeah,
wherever I can get it.
yeah. It's great. It's going to be one of those shows that after I finish this, watch through,
Mm.
I'll give it a bit, and then I'm going to do a real serious rewatch so I can
Yes.
pick up on every one of these little Easter eggs. But it's I would have to say uh, it is. I reckon it's my favorite new show of the year so far. I'm really
It's
loving
well
it.
up there, right? Like
Yeah.
it's dark, it's funny,
Yeah.
it's delivering its story in that wonderful kind of jigsaw puzzle style where
Mm,
you might have the edges in, but there's still a few bits in the middle that aren't making sense. And it's not like, oh, I can see the picture.
mm,
It's it's literally coming together as those pieces go in. And
mm,
with now 2 episodes left in season one,
mm.
um, let's say we've got 80% of the pic. I still can't see the full picture.
No, 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 I'm the same. And one of the things I'm also liking is that, and we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, they are hitting story points and resolving it and moving forward. They're not spinning their wheels. Like it's still
Mm,
somehow a monster of the week, genre of the week, moving the storyline,
yeah.
resolving bits and pieces, getting to the next bit. It's been pretty great.
And still giving us a week to week cliffhanger that
Yeah.
draws us to the next episode without being like totally kitsch.
Yeah.
It's like this storm, right? The end of this most recent episode has this storm is coming, and the
Yes.
determination by Wick, um, and he has to tell Tom the curse is not over.
It's not over,
Like
mate.
this storm is
Mm,
a part of everything that's being thrown at us.
mm.
And I mean, I guess we now have to assume that the storm is the big, feature of episode nine, and let's see what that does for us, in its best Armageddon-ish kind of, let's hit another genre point, or let's hit another approach to telling bad things happening to a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, well, we've got the storm coming. We've got Patricia telling the policeman he has to get his wife off the island to have the baby because
Yeah,
if they
she
have
can't
the
have the baby
baby,
here,
you, your baby's fucked. Like,
and the storm's coming, so you can't get off the island.
yeah, it's all great. I'm loving it.
Love it.
What an absolute treat. All right, let's jump to
Widow's Bay.
the boys finale.
Yes.
Um, did you ever read the comic?
No. I
No.
was fresh to this when it came, like
Yeah.
TV wise.
Yeah. Interesting, the kind of reaction to the boys finale. It seems that some people have been left a little bit unimpressed. Some people, it's one of those, it's always been one of those shows that we've talked about before where I've always enjoyed it enough. So I thought the ending was perfectly fine.
Yeah, I thought it sat really neatly in the boys' universe. Like
Hmm.
everything, because after 5 seasons, we've gone deep into some territory around the law and the way the supers exist and what that meant, and particularly the connections into Vought
Hmm.
and this last season and a half, especially Homelander's ego has just been left unchecked.
Hmm.
So that we've been building to, this reveal to that universe
Hmm.
that let's relaunch the church. Homelander is God. We can worship him as God on earth. All of the things around that, which we can, of course, nail the parallels to reality in America right now. In and of itself, I think the way that it resolved its threads was it made sense in the story. And it's rare these days that we get those kinds of resolutions where okay, yes, that needed to happen. Yes, this someone needed to die. Someone
Hmm.
needed to do this. This needed to be a thing. All of the tension, particularly around the super non-super debate, and that we needed to stop it so that another super didn't fill the void
Mm,
if they could kill Homelander, that thread has to resolve, and that has to be a Huey and Butcher resolution. They
mm,
have to work that out because they are absolutely on the opposite sides of the argument
mm,
in how it plays out. I thought, look, I in very excellent boys fashion, we got some of the most like ludicrous deaths,
mm,
and they needed to be.
mm,
I enjoyed, even though the creators have said that's it. Yes, we're getting a sequel series.
mm,
Sorry, a prequel series of how it all came sort of to pass.
mm,
But to have Soldier Boy, like if I recall correctly, Soldier Boy got effectively put into stasis, and that was the last we saw of him.
mm.
He
Yeah,
didn't die
yeah.
and could be defrosted at any point.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. It was always a show that I enjoyed enough.
Mm,
Um, uh, it obviously it's funny. These shows that get these big budgets to begin with, as they
mm,
progress, the budgets seem to get smaller, and it was. I think the slightly weird thing with the ending was I I would have liked to see Homelander go full Kid Miracle Man, which is
mm.
to me that to me was Alan Moore's Miracle Man was the first time that I'd really ever read a comic where he showed the a villain could show absolute depravity if they had powers. Like that is,
Yeah,
have you ever read Miracle Man?
I have not.
Oh, right. Miracle Man was brief history. Superman came along. There was Captain Marvel.
Hmm.
Captain Marvel was outselling Superman at one point. They decided to sue to say it was too close to Superman, and DC won that.
Hmm.
So Captain Marvel was taken away. But the Brits had reproduction of their stories with Captain Marvel and the Marvel family. So they reinvented all of those stories and made it Marvel Man. So Marvel
Okay.
Man was an old 50s, 60s British character who then kind of, uh, stopped being published. And then Alan Moore brought him back before Alan Moore was Alan Moore. He
Right.
was working for this magazine called Warrior, and he brought back Marvel Man and did this complete reinvention of imagine a imagine an ordinary man forgot his magic word that would turn him into a superhero, and placed it all in the real world, and really one of the first kind of digging into the superhero mythology and deconstructing it and making a new story. Anyway, and then of course Marvel Comics said you can't call it Marvel Man, and so they had to change it to Miracle Man. So it's this weird, long, convoluted story. But in that, one of the major villain gets loose. And I won't go into it now because if
Mm.
anyone reads it, but it is genuinely holy shit. Like yeah, that's exactly what they would do. This is the kind of stuff where, you know, Big Ben has had the arms ripped out so they're pointing away from the face, and there's five bodies skewered on it, and there's a
Oh,
woman and a child running screaming as there's hands and feet raining down on them. Like he's terrorizing all of London.
jeepers.
So there was a part of me that was like, oh, are we building towards seeing Homelander because he keeps threatening to destroy New York? Are we gonna see him go full kind of Miracle Man? And there was a part of it was like, ah, you guys ran out of budget, didn't you? Okay, we're just gonna have the last fight scene here. But
Yeah.
there was something, because we live in a world where the bullies are in charge and getting away with shit. I have to be honest, it was fun to see him lose his powers and see him turn to water.
Yes, and I was initially expecting that, okay, he's lost his powers, so this
Mm,
is Homelander now has to live with the outcome of him being a complete tosspot.
mm,
Whether it's he, gets 70,000 charges brought against him, or he just has to live a real human life, and
mm.
anyone gets to beat him up. Like he would literally, I'm sure, have been bullied to death.
Mm.
To have Butcher finish him also made kind of sense.
Mm.
Um, I thought it was a neat button
Mm.
to have, remembering back to where it all started in the very first episode, A Train accidentally kills Huey's girlfriend
Yeah.
in a pretty horrific sense and really sets the boys up for, well, this is where we're going, friends.
Yeah.
And to have almost a mirror of that where Huey and Starlight Annie, sorry,
Bless you.
are standing out the front.
Mm.
Again, almost like she in the gutter and him on the footpath,
Mm.
and she's off to save the world, whatever
Mm.
she goes to do. And he's like, they're happy doing their thing, and he's found peace and
Mm.
resolution, and she's happily in love with him. There's no kind of um, the ongoing, kind of consternation between them was that he's a normal and she's a super, and
Mm.
what would she see in him is,
Mm.
why would she care about me? And she's like, I'm I'm a freak. What would he see in me?
Mm.
And all of that has just come together. They live their happily ever after
Mm.
in the context of as much as happily ever after can be, with Vought still existing and
Mm.
a whole bunch of, well, what have been ostensibly their friends
Mm.
either vanished or very dead.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mother Milk's all right. He finally got a bit of peace.
Yes.
I think people pushing back on it because it is a deeply dark and cynical TV show that ends on
Yes.
it is a very neat ending and it is a little bit more uplifting. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Like if that's how you
Particularly
want to
because
finish
if
it,
that's it, right?
yeah.
Like you don't get to go to season 6 or a subsequent series and go, and it's all dark and ugly again.
Hmm.
Fine to go to a prequel series to establish how we got to here.
Hmm.
But because we got a reasonably upbeat, the things that needed to happen, and everyone's dead or alive or different or whatever, like Sage ostensibly losing her powers and going, I'm off to Disney World, fuckers,
Hmm.
was brilliant.
Hmm.
Like I have known all of the things and had a chessboard where I'm 700 steps ahead of all of you,
Hmm.
and now I can barely tell you how to open a door. See ya.
Yeah. 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 I thought it was fun. Once again, one of
Yep.
those shows that was, I don't think it ever ended up on my top 10 lists for the year, but I was always happy to check in with it and watch it
I had to complete it. I had to see how they ended it. So
yeah.
I was hooked by the end, like I was in.
Yeah.
But when it got to halfway through season 3 or 4-ish, I went, I have to ride this one out. I've put
Yeah.
too much time in it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I totally get that. I thought it was a good ending. Anyway, let's go rapid fire
Please.
for a few shows. The latest season of For All Mankind finished
Mhm.
in the 2010s. It's got one more season to go when it'll be in the 2020s. For anyone who hasn't watched it, For All Mankind is set in a universe where Russia got to the moon first, and that sets up a conflict which is different to our world. And space exploration becomes something that's extremely important. The
Mm.
latest series was the first two seasons I think are pretty brilliant, and then they get slightly uneven around 3 and 4. This latest one was uneven. The good episodes were great. The other episodes you're like, why are we telling this story? But it finished in a way that made me go, okay, well, once again, there's only one season to go. You've left in a way that you've given us two suggestions about things that are going to happen. One is once again spoilers, but this season finishes with them finding life on Titan.
Great.
And that's done in a pretty beautiful way. And there's an old Russian spaceship that looks derelict that suddenly comes back online. So there's two
Jeez.
things that I want to see for the next season of For All Mankind. But the
Mhm.
reason I want to really bring it up is they have a new spin-off series called Star City. And that is the telling of the For All Mankind story, but
Mhm.
from the Russians' point of view. So
Excellent.
this is the first episode is them landing on the moon. So it's stuff that you've
Sweet.
already seen.
Yeah.
They've gone right back to the start. They're not going to be doing time jumps. They're going to be sticking in this world. And they've put the Chernobyl filter on it. It looks like that TV series. It's
Wow.
people with English and Welsh accents speaking, and you just go, oh, yeah, they're Russian. No
Yeah.
worries. I'll accept that. It's an espionage series,
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
and it has two characters from For All Mankind that you not main characters, but characters that when you kind of click which ones they are, you go, oh, I know who you are. I've already experienced you in your future, and you're seeing them come together. There's the politics of Rhys Ifans, who plays the chief designer. He
Yeah.
has big plans, but he has to deal with the KGB and all of the propaganda that
Oh,
they want to put out there. And I also, for anyone who's a little bit uh, squeamish, there's very little violence, but when it
mhm.
happens,
Russian violence, right?
it's shocking,
Yeah.
and all the space scenes are incredible. So you don't have to have seen For All Mankind if you like the Chernobyl aesthetic, if you like espionage, if you want to see an alternate history for the space race set from the Russians' POV, where not only do they land a man on the moon before the Americans, they also land a woman. It's an incredible addition to their mythology.
A tag off the back of that, Hammo, Alan Sepinwall and his friend Catherine, who is also
Mm,
a TV critic in the
yep.
States, have dropped a new podcast, TV is Good.
Mm,
And they covered the first episodes. They did the brilliant job of, here's kind of broad strokes like you're talking about, didn't spoil anything,
mm,
talking about Star City and the stuff that they loved about it, and of course referenced For All Mankind in the same way like you did, and
mm,
and gave a good overview. If anyone is keen to add another podcast to their list, particularly if they're television fans,
mm.
TV is Good is an excellent one,
Yeah.
because it's just giving us there's like light and shade. This most recent episode they did um, Lost and Love Island, if I
Mm,
recall the pairing correctly, and it
yeah.
is divine because, as you'd expect, Alan Sepinwall and Catherine, both big fans of Lost, and
Mm.
Alan hasn't seen one episode of Love Island, and it was delightful to hear her explain it to him.
I totally respect Alan Sepinwall even more for
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
So,
glorious. So
uh,
yeah, so good, and they raved and had their quibbles about it as well. So yeah, eyes
yeah.
wide open for both those series, For All Mankind and Star City.
Yes, Star City in particular. As I said, you don't have to have watched For All Mankind to
Mm.
be across where this story is going. Give us. You had a couple of other things that you wanted to mention. You've watched how many episodes of Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed?
Oh, this is too many of them now. I took my opportunity and have jumped ahead because it's 30-minute episodes.
Yeah.
And look, this week it's the Apple TV podcast, Hammo. Honestly,
Yes.
so
Yes.
far the three big shows are all Apple TV, and I've got this one and another one we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Um, the basic premise is Tatiana Maslany, who you might know from Orphan Black, and she was also She-Hulk,
Mm,
is a newly divorced mother. Paula, who has formed a unhealthy relationship with a cam boy called Trevor, who she's never met. It's literally she pays for an hour of his time. They talk about life, and at the end, they get each other off.
mm,
Happy days. She gets drawn into through Trevor a in a dark web of blackmail and friendship and murder and youth soccer, where she is ostensibly traumatized initially at thinking that, he's been killed. Turns out he's then trying to blackmail her. And then she actually sees him get killed.
right. Right.
Start crime scene. Like the whole thing plays out from there. It is brilliant to see Maslany in this kind of harried single mum. Jake Johnson is her dick of an ex-husband,
Hmm.
Carl,
Hmm.
who his new wife, Mallory, played by Jessie Hodges, is just in his ear. We've got to move to Idaho. We've got to get your daughter and go. She is a piece of work. The cops that are investigating it are excellent, and they are just like plodding through it, trying to live their best life as far as cops can be. However, I reckon it is Paula's best friends. Charlie Hall plays a guy called Rudy, and this I'm going to mess this up. Kiara Hamagami, sorry, Goldberg plays
Hmm.
Jerry. They are her two co-workers that she draws into this thriller, criminal situation, like help us work it out.
Mm.
And she's clearly sort of Gen Y, Gen X, and they are as Gen Z as you come.
Right.
So that disconnection, it's all really great. The standout for me is Murray Bartlett,
Mm.
an Aussie actor who's really getting some amazing roles in Hollywood. He's in the midst of it everywhere in a kind of intense way that I think we've come to expect from Murray's performances, and absolutely not probably in the way you're expecting. So
Mm.
it's so, so good. It's really easy to watch. As I said, half-hour drops. It's dropping weekly. The first four are out. I finished episode 8 earlier today, and the other two will finish after we're finished here because I have to, because we've got to that point where we're building
Mm.
up to this big moment and what's going to happen. And then, come on, friends, like, here's the thing. So, yep, loving Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed is on Apple TV weekly on Wednesdays. The first four are there for you now.
Murray Bartlett, White Lotus was a remarkable gift,
Yep.
and his ability to follow it up with for me, the best episode of The Last of Us.
Yes. Season one.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
he is. That's actually that might. I didn't know he was in it, so that it might actually be the thing that finally gets me to check that out. That sounds great.
Yeah, they've kept it under the radar that he's in, which I really liked.
Oh right, okay. So
Because
was it
then
a
when he pops
reveal?
up, you go, "Oh, do I think I know that guy?" And fans of Murray will go, "Hang on, that's Murray Bartlett."
Yeah, right.
Um, and the bits that he pops up in are delightful.
Okay. Have we ruined it by telling everyone Murray Butler's in it?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
because he was not in all of the big press photos, but he's in like the first 5 minutes of the
Oh,
first
okay.
10 minutes of the show.
Okay. That's good. All right. Sticking with Apple, you've seen the new Cape Fear.
Yeah, the first two are out right now and they're weekly on Fridays. This is a
Right.
limited series conversion of the films and leaning on the 62, I think it was, and then of
Mm.
course the 91 remake with De Niro.
Yeah.
The big connection for mine is Javier Bardem
Mm.
plays Max Cady, with Amy Adams and Patrick Wilson as
Mm.
the husband and wife lawyers, um, who were in part responsible for Katie going away.
Yeah.
And it's set in like, Southern America, so there's all these sort of willows like lining the streets, and it's hot all the time. And Bardem, look, I gotta say that guy is charming,
Mm.
and I would not want to meet him in a dark alley.
Mm.
Like, he just absolutely nails the intensity of Max Cady in this,
Mm.
and it grows and it grows. And because it's set in 2026, we get to introduce Anna and Tom have two kids. They have a son and a daughter, and both of them are struggling with, mid late teenager kind of things that they struggle with as kids, as teenagers. Um, Something happened for their son, Zach, that we find out about. I think it's in episode 2, that he's not proud of, but it's affected him. And
Mm.
meanwhile, understandably, Natalie feels kind of left out. She's
Mm.
the older of the two, and their mum and dad, of course, are obsessing over making sure Zach's okay. So she feels on the fringe a bit anyway. And then you've got, you know, Katie just re-enters this universe,
Mm.
and he is charming as hell.
Mm.
And it's the best kind of mindfuck I think that you can have, is where you've got this criminal who feels slighted but is dancing just delicately on the edge of the law,
Mm.
exactly like, the source material.
Mm.
It's just fucking great, mate. It is
Right.
so good. And just sprinkle in some loveliness. Anna's business partner, she runs a justice project trying to help people who are on death row, be saved. Her business partner is played by CCH Pounder. Like,
Oh, great.
brilliant.
Yes.
Great casting,
Yes.
excellent story. It is dark and all the right amounts of modernism stuff thrown in without making it feel like it's tacked on or it's forced in.
Yep.
And if you're a fan of particularly the De Niro film, given how old we are, or even the original,
I've
right?
seen the
Like,
Robert Mitchum too. Yeah.
right? There's from that source material, there's stuff that you expect to
Mm,
come
mm,
when you see the series. And they don't kind of run around and wave a flag and go, oh, here's the thing where the thing happens. Or remember they went to a cinema, right? They don't do all of those things.
mm,
Stuff just happens and there's subversions and misdirections. And you even start doubting if, hang on, is that character the person that's the bad person? And actually this person is like Katie's okay? Or is it, what's going on here?
mm,
And to leave you thinking, am I backing the right horse?
mm,
Through every minute of this series is why it is absolutely sucked me in, and I just can't recommend. Again, it's another jump scare thing, and it's killing me. My
mm.
heart is going to die, but I'm into it. It's so good. Please,
Yeah.
please, please, Cape Fear, and it is a limited series. They're not going to go 3, 4, 5 seasons.
Yeah.
This is the story.
Yeah. Bardem is so charismatic, and that's why
Yeah,
one of the reasons he works as a bad guy, because there is still something mesmerizing about him that you can understand that even in the worst of situations or scenarios, there would be something that would give you pause to stick long enough to have spent too much time with him. All right. Yeah, I'm curious
yeah.
to see that.
Wow, it's creepy as.
If I remember correctly, the Scorsese Cape Fear came about because I think Spielberg had the rights to that and Scorsese had the rights to Schindler's List, and they kind of did a swap.
Oh, and Punchline, they're both EPs on this series.
Are they? Yeah, right, right. Interesting. All right. That sounds cool. And you've got two more that you suggested. What's Ground Up? I don't even know about this one.
Do you remember back in the late 90s, Hammo, John
Mm.
Clark and Brian Dorr delivered a very, very good satirical series called The Games,
Yes.
where they were a part of the fictitious organising committee that were preparing Sydney for the Olympic Games.
Yep.
And some of the great jokes that came out of that were not least of which there's a 100-meter track that's only 98 meters long or something.
Yes. Yeah.
And in it, John Clark, Brian to a lesser degree, but John Clark's character was seemingly the only sane person in it.
Mm.
And I think that kind of experience that we all had with the games as a TV show allowed us not only to appreciate Clark and Dawes for the incredible comedic writing talent as much as performing talent that they are and were,
Mm.
it also allowed us to go, that thread, that kind of delivery mechanism is when we look at Australian comedy and go, yeah, those kinds of things are why that works.
Mm.
Like we look at Utopia, a much more recent take on it, and
Mm.
it's the same thing. Rob Sitch's character feels like the only one that actually understands what's going on, and everyone else is living in a world of their own.
Mm.
And he's trying to make things go while everyone else is off with the fairies.
Mm.
In Ground Up, Gary McCaffrey, a longtime collaborator writer with Sean McAuliffe,
Mm.
has written a story about a Hobart via Melbourne AFL administrator Hugh Shen, played by Sam Pang, who has been tasked with establishing Tasmania's first ever AFL team.
Oh, yes, right. You know what? I do know about this. I just didn't know the title. Right.
It opens with this title card: the following events never took place, especially between May 2023 and October 2026. So here's the thing. Sam, as Hugh, is trying to get this AFL team established in Tasmania, build the stadium that nobody wants.
Mm.
So they're up against all of that as well. And then he's got an AFL CEO who constantly thinks that Hugh is trying to undermine him because he wants his job, who's just being just outrageously aggressive with him.
Mm.
And then around them is the literal, we have to build a team. What does that look like? Marg Downey plays Catherine LaFontaine, the club president and the woman with the money and the contacts,
Yeah.
who does that just note perfectly and gets to display her comedic chops.
Mm.
Sam is deadpan, and that's where we get to, see the comedy come for him, understandably.
Mm.
Throw in around the side Emma Harvey, who is in Colin from Accounts. Her name
Yep.
is Destiny Pitt. She
Yep.
is the public servant turned COO of this franchise. Then you've got a great cast of supporting characters. Toby Truslove is the
Yeah.
Premier of Tasmania. Josh McConville is the head of the AFL that I spoke about. Dylan Murphy is brilliant. He is Catherine's son, the Nepo baby hire in the club, and
Mm.
he is not even next to useless. He's horrible.
Mm.
But hilarious because of his ineptitude. Then we've got Lucy Durack, Dave Thornton, Broden Kelly, Tegan Higginbotham,
Mm.
a whole bunch of people popping up in regular, like recurring roles.
Yeah.
There's the first five are up right now if people want to jump on iView, with the sixth, I think, being held back. It starts when we're recording, it starts tonight. So by the time, people get to hear this, they could have jumped on and watched one or all five of
Yeah.
the episodes. There's a marvelous moment where the Premier is in the office and Emma is introducing him to the coaching staff. And in brilliant comedic style, she introduces him to 26 people as they
Mm.
just walk through and shake his hand, and she names all of their different roles and those, and it goes on and does that thing where it goes, no, this is stupid. No, hang on, this has got real fun. Oh no, it's really funny now.
Mm.
And it ends with him asking her, do they really need that many people? And she went, apparently. That's where it
Right.
ends. That's just
Yeah.
that scene. Move on.
Yeah.
It really tickles me. And while Sam Pang is not, a funny ha-ha comedian in his performance as far as you would expect from other comedic performances, the fact that he plays almost to his own type, which is that straight guy, bit of an acerbic aside, call it for what it is. And like I said, John Clark, everything around him is just flying around in fits of chaos.
Mm.
It works really well because it means that some of the close to reality but absurd enough moments that happen,
Mm.
you just get to believe that that's a part of the situation. Like that's
Mm.
a real, let's put a chip in players so that we can, rather than just them wearing armbands and get their pulse and, GPS location, this way we can get all sorts of blood work out of them while they're running around and note that this helps us understand this and this helps us understand that. And how do you think that plays out in the context of the show, Hammo?
Mm. Well,
So good.
yeah.
So well.
Yeah.
Ground Up is brilliant. I love it as an Australian comedy. No, Sam Pang is not the replacement or even the next John Clark.
Mm.
I will say that he is a worthy successor if he gets these kinds of opportunities.
Mm.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Great.
And Wayne Hope and Robin Butler Gristmill are responsible for making the production, and Wayne and Robin direct most of the episodes and do a bloody great job of it too. It's so funny. Ground Up
Yeah.
on the ABC.
The two of them just continue to churn it out, and two of the most reliable creators in the industry, especially for comedies. So
good.
just quickly, what was hit me? What's Clarkson's farm? What was it?
So just prior to COVID, well, Jeremy Clarkson obviously is a very rich wanker. And for those that know him from his work in Top Gear, he has earned many, many, many millions of dollars writing, doing, performing, all of those sorts of things. He bought, among his, investments, a big farm out in the Cotswolds, which was just doing its thing and he wasn't really doing anything. Just prior to COVID, he and his girlfriend moved out there and went, well, we can live here and let's make a go of the farm. Spoilers, he's not a farmer. So it is a very warts and all documentary-ish kind of approach to storytelling. He does not shy away from looking like an idiot, which is wonderful. He leans into the fact that I'm Jeremy Clarkson and, I don't know anything about farming. So he buys the world's biggest tractor in the first season, a Lamborghini, and it just proves to be horrendous for him because it can't fit on the roads and it's too heavy for places. And he hires this local guy called Caleb Cooper, who's gone on to be somewhat of a star because of his practical approach to life and those sorts of things. He teaches Jeremy how to drive a tractor and work the farm. The characters now are well developed. They are all real life. This is not made up. It's not fictitious. It is them trying to grow pigs and do things, and Jeremy fighting with the council because he wants to set up a farm store, and then he wants to set up a restaurant, and all of the red tape he's got to cut through. Then also there's the British government. Keir Starmer brought in a massive tax literally last year that was only going to affect like 20% of farms. In the end, it actually affected 90% of farms and no one could afford it. All of that plays out as a part of it. It's my happy place because it's just no one tries to pretend that they're anything that they're not. Like if there's real life farming people just being farmers.
Hmm.
There's Jeremy Clarkson just being an overpaid buffoon, and he knows it. And his girlfriend Lisa rolls her eyes at him and then just gets on with loving him and living their life together, right? Like
Hmm.
it's fine. Yes, there are moments in it when he spends a gajillion dollars that no normal human could spend.
Hmm.
That in part is where some of the great lightness is because he was
Hmm.
able to do that and we get to laugh at the rich man doing the rich man things. There's sadness because animals will die, or they've grown these animals because they have to go and die because otherwise we don't get to eat their meat, and all of those kinds of things. And he particularly grows fond of this herd of pigs that they try and have a go at growing and turn out to be reasonably successful with. But he's sad, regularly, but when the pigs have to go off to the abattoir, he gets really sad.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, hang on, no, there is a heart inside that body. And it just so happens that he happened to fall in love with pigs.
Hmm.
Who would have thought? So it's delightful and it doesn't ask anything of anyone. You can just watch it and go, that happened. It's
Hmm.
not going to change my life. That was a real thing.
Hmm.
Um, the interesting hook for mine, and this is completely obtuse, the theme song to Top Gear is an Allman Brothers instrumental track that got reworked and redeveloped. The very first moments of Cape Fear, that very same song is playing in the background as they're having a 4th of July barbecue. And it
Hmm.
took me nearly the whole episode to go, why do I know that song?
Right.
Um, so, in some way, now Cape Fear is connected to Top Gear, which means it's now connected to Jeremy Clarkson farming in the Cotswolds. And I could not understand how that's going to be a thing. I love it. It is simple. It's currently my televisual happy place because we just get to see people who are invested in each other's lives trying to make a go of it. And it's beautiful.
Okay.
That's
Well,
Clarkson's Farm on Prime Video.
yeah, right. Well, as a vegetarian who doesn't drive and doesn't like Jeremy Clarkson, I won't be watching it, but you have sold it
Fair
for other
enough.
people.
100%. And that's it, right? No one's going to make anybody watch any of these things. Oh,
No, it's
super quick
like
aside,
to be
Hammo.
to be honest, it's like, oh well, at least I don't have to worry about that one.
Right? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're safe. I watched this week Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee, which is currently airing Wednesday nights on the ABC.
Yes.
And this season, season 3, Sam Campbell has stepped in for the sidekick role where Aaron Chen was in the first
Oh,
two
right. Yep.
series. And as you would expect, they were hilarious. When Guy would throw to Aaron, he would have some weird setups for games and fitting into those sorts of things. Sam Campbell is a brilliant performer anyhow. And the
Hmm.
first 5 or 6 episodes, he's been just sort of pottering along, doing nice little things. And yeah, Sam, you're weird and it's funny and that's great. Run to iView and watch, I think it's episode 6,
Hmm.
which was this most recent one. It had Demi from the US. It had, Charlie Pickering. No, Brett Blake's the next one. A bunch of people, but Sam Campbell comes out in a character that he calls Clockman.
Hmm.
And like they deliver a 35-ish minute episode. I can promise you the studio taping would have gone without the normal interruptions that come from that kind of thing easily to 90 minutes
Hmm.
because Sam was off the hook.
Oh,
Clockman was involved in everything. He
yeah.
popped up at parts of the show you didn't expect him to pop up into. And look, that's as much great writing as great performance.
Hmm.
And I am enjoying more and more that that Guy is initially engaged in what Sam is doing and then just gets exasperated to the point of being angry. Like
Great.
at one point he throws this line in, do you mind if we just make a TV show over here, Sam? It's it's so funny and so weird, and Clockman is everything that is great about both Sam Campbell and this series of Spelling Bee. It's so good. It is so good, Hammo.
Great. All right. I will definitely check that out. Is that with the problematic Charlie Pickering?
No, it would have been recorded prior to Charlie becoming problematic.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. Guess
I
what,
know.
mate? Sometimes you don't have to have an opinion. And also,
Mm.
don't go and talk to bad people.
Oh, that's right. I'll talk to that guy. Yeah.
As someone who has a lot of affection for Charlie,
Yes.
I would be remiss to let his name go past at this precise moment in time and go, no, mate.
Yeah,
Just
you
no.
fucked that up. Yeah.
Anyway. All right. That sounds good, though. Lots of good stuff there.
So many things, Hammo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Apple TV is. It's funny. People often say they don't watch anything on Apple TV, and I'm always confused because it
They're
feels
not
like it
looking.
has a broad range of really good titles that tick a lot of boxes. So,
Everything that we've talked about, plus a new series of Ted Lasso, come on top of the three that are already there.
mm,
And then you've got ostensibly its sister in Shrinking,
mm,
um, which connects Brett Goldstein through both universes.
mm,
It's delightful. And then all of this and a whole lot more.
We've still got Silo coming. We've got a new season of Slow Horses coming. There's
Yes,
so much. That's the one that not that any of these streamers need any help, but when people say they want to keep it to one or two, that's the one that
this
I
needs to be
always
one of them.
suggest. Yeah. Molk, I'm going to let you go.
Thanks,
You're
Hammo.
pulling double duty this week. We're going to be back on Thursday to discuss the new Steven Spielberg movie that we are both seeing on Tuesday night.
Come
So
on.
I'm looking forward to that. Great work today, and we'll speak again on Thursday.
Thanks, Hammo.
Thank you to Steve Molk for joining me today. We had intended for this podcast to be 45 minutes, but as you can see or hear, there was just so much to discuss. Widow's Bay alone had so much to unpack, so many great TV shows to check out as well. A lot of them I will be checking out, and I'm glad he brought up that Clarkson Farm one because that is 100% not for me. The I'm glad that he enjoyed it. I'm glad if you enjoy it, but you know, if you're sad that your animal's being slaughtered because you've kind of realized that maybe on some intrinsic level they have a soul, how about you just let them live, mate? You've got the money. That's how I feel about that moment. You might be a meat eater, and you can justify it, but in my head, uh, you know, um, I'd rather eat Nan before I'd eat a poor pig. I don't even know my Nan, so it makes it much easier. So there you go. Anyway, but always great. And as we said at the end of our time together, we're going to be back on Thursday. We're both seeing the new Steven Spielberg film Disclosure Day on Tuesday, and we will record our thoughts. I said to him, let's record the next day so we give ourselves, like a good 24 hours to let the experience wash over us and sit down and really prepare for it. I was going to do it straight after, but, it was like I saw the film Backrooms recently, and the people around me either loved it or didn't really go for it, but I had to kind of sit on it for a while and see how it infiltrated my dreams and kind of sat with me, and I enjoyed it with a little bit more time away from it. So we'll see with Disclosure Day where that lands. I've got my fingers and all my toes crossed because I'd love Spielberg to just knock this out of the park. I'll always love Spielberg, and this movie seems to be right in my wheelhouse of things that I like and enjoy that he's produced in the past. All right. Look, I won't keep you for much longer. If you would like to support this podcast over at Patreon, for as little as $5 a month, you can get access to ad-free versions of this podcast. You can get bonus podcasts. You can find filmed live shows that only exist in that area. So if you would like to sign up and be able to access them, as I said, for as little as $5 a month, you can help out, and all money made goes back into the production of this podcast. It goes right back into everything that's done behind the scenes. If money's tight and you have the time, a top review on whichever platform you use is always extremely helpful. But also, you know what? Word of mouth. If you know some people that they like TV, they like movies, they like books, but they don't know what to check out, this is what this podcast represents. It's me with my friends churning through stuff and coming up with suggestions for you. Some of them might be suggestions that you take on board that you really like, and some of them might be that Jeremy Clarkson show, which might be for you, but absolutely was not for me. But anyway, if you want to be a part of this community, just suggesting it to other people who might like to check out the podcast is really helpful in this era where algorithms do everything that they can to make sure that you don't rise to the top. Okay, I'm going to let you go. This has been so much longer than I expected, but I appreciate you for listening, and I look forward to getting back to you on Thursday with a little bit of fingers crossed Spielberg magic. Until then.